Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. We're here to review another announced 7-star Terra Raid Den for the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games. Jumping right on over, we're going to be looking at the 7-star Rock Terra type Chestnut. Chestnut's originally a grass fighting type, bolstering a high attack stat, fairly high attack stat, and a solid physical defense stat. We're going to have Chestnut with the Mightiest Mark. Chestnut will be appearing Friday, May 12th at 00 UTC till May 14th, 2359 UTC. So that will be, for my time zone, Pacific time zone, it's going to be Thursday, May 11th at 5 p.m. Make sure that stays bright. Thursday, May 11th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, all the way until Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. This is the only way we're going to be able to get Chestnut. It's going to reappear the following weekend, same time frame, Thursday evening Pacific, 5 p.m. Pacific until Sunday, and then it's going to be gone for good. This will be the only way to get it besides getting it in trains. You know the deal with 7-star raids at this point. It's going to be a pretty solid matchup that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to jump over. There it is. We're going to jump over here into Cerebee's Pokedex entry for Chestnut. Obviously, we have the home model for it, but we don't have the in-game Scarlet and Violet model for it yet. You can see here. Perfect. Sorry, I'm doing this live. I do these live for you because it's probably the best way for me to do it. But I do it live over on Twitch as well if you want to go give me a follow. We also hit that subscribe button, throw a like, comment, all that good stuff for the video. Looking at Chestnut, we know what's going to be getting its hidden ability. We have Bulletproof, which I went ahead and I went and looked at. There's a huge array of moves actually that get covered by Bulletproof. The big ones are these. Seed Bomb, because obviously it's going to be weak to grass types. Focus Blast and Aura Sphere. Rock is weak to fighting. Bullet Seed and Energy Ball back into that grass type. Octazooka, it's a water move that it happens to block, but also huge. Acid Spray is not going to work against Bulletproof. That's going to be, when the shields are up, we're going to need a different way to lower its special defense, because it's going to be much easier. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom here of Cerebee. It's going to be much easier to attack it on this special defensive side than it is going to be to attack into this massive 122 defense stat. Again, bolstering a pretty solid 107 attack stat for base. It's going to be weak to water, fighting, steel, and ground types. May have missed one, it's fine. But being grass fighting, it's going to counter being weak to water, fighting, and ground types. So, sorry, water, steel, and ground types. I am doing tremendous for doing this live. Thanks for joining me here. Which means that our primary offensive typing for this is going to be fighting. Now, mind you, there's a handful of ways that we're going to be able to go about this raid that don't require using a fighting or stab fighting attack. But if we're looking at it, we've seen Annihilate absolutely crush all kinds of raids from 5 stars all the way up to 7 stars. It's probably going to be a pretty solid choice here for a method to solo it. Iron Hands, probably going to be a pretty good candidate for it as well, depending on what the Chestnut wants to do. If it's rocking that Spiky Shield, everything is going to have to be careful. Speaking of moves, I've triggered right onto it. Spiky Shield, its signature move, is one of those utility moves it's going to be able to use. It's basically a protect that reflects damage back to you. A couple other utility moves in its moveset here. Gets access to grassy terrain via TM, and it gets access to Synthesis actually here via the egg moves. We've known them to have egg moves before, so it's possible that we get into there. Almost every single raid that we've gone up against as well has had some form of a way to buff itself. Inteleon being one of the, if not the only exception. No, Charizard didn't self either. But usually if they carry a buffing move, they're going to use that buffing move. Chestnut has a slew of them that focus in on its ability to use physical attacks and its physical defense. We get things like Swords Dance if it's going to be purely defensive. But we also get bulk up, curse, and iron back up onto that defense stat. Bulk up, I feel like, is the most likely candidate. Going to give it a boost to its physical offense, its physical attack, and its defense, making it much harder to kill while still hitting pretty solid. I have a feeling if it uses bulk up, it'll use it multiple times in the match. All of this surrounding, obviously, its potential move sets. We're looking at a set of powerful grass, fighting, and rock type moves that it gets access to, as well as a couple of off chance moves for it to carry that are not those three types. So moves like Hammer Arm and Wood Hammer are just outrageously strong offensive moves. You have Giga Impact falling in that same vein, using its rock typing to its advantage. You'll have either Stone Edge or Rock Slide, most likely. Other moves that it could potentially carry: Seed Bomb, if it feels like not carrying Wood Hammer to deal damage to itself, is a solid grass type option. Earthquake for that ground type coverage. It's not going to do anything that the fighting type's not going to do, but it may carry it as well. Drain Punch, if it wants to have some survivability and just cause that little bit of extra chaos, Drain Punch could end up being huge. And then in the vein of fighting type moves, here's a couple of things we may want to look out for. Low Sweep. We're going to be bringing probably quite a few heavier Pokemon if you're using fighting types like Iron Hands. Low Sweep could be pretty detrimental to something that heavy. Body Press. If it starts buffing its defense with Curse, with Bulk Up, or with Iron Defense, Body Press could end up doing a lot. If that's the case, having a friend or a support mon that comes in and uses either Screech or Haze to reset those stats or something along those lines could be huge. The other one is, as a kind of a last-ditch effort move, Reversal. Having a stab fighting type reversal with that much health, because reversal works based on the lower your health, the more damage it does. I don't know if it's percentage based. That's just knowledge I don't have personally. If it's based on how low your health is, that could end up doing a lot of damage to the end of your raids. Just things that you want to keep an eye out for. We'll scroll through the list of attacks here that it gets just to make sure I didn't miss any that could come out and potentially be a pretty big problem. See, here's the bulk up that it gets: Body Slam. Unlikely given that it gets Giga Impact, but at the same time, who knows? It might carry it just for the sake of potentially leaving you with paralysis. Trailblaze, it could boost its speed stat. Unlikely with all of its other grass options. Facade. Metal Claw, again, kind of unlikely just because of how much damage it does. They usually try to give it the strongest moves that they can. Brick Break is another physical offensive option. Zen Headbutt could be used to counter those fighting types. I didn't actually see that my first pass round, but that Zen Headbutt could come in clutch against some fighting types if that's what you choose to bring. Thunder Punch, unlikely, but it could. Dragon Claw. Poison Jab. If you end up bringing a grass type to counter it, keep an eye out for that Poison Jab. Unlikely again, but you know, one of those things you can never really count out. Iron Head could be another huge one. There's a huge list of moves that it could have. I think the initial set that I had talked about, kind of the more likely ones, but it does have quite a bit of utility within all of this. It could also, similar to the Charizard right now that I'm thinking about it, it could go for this close combat as its opening move and then immediately reset its stats so that that defense and special defense drops are no longer there. That could be a strategy that it runs. So keep an eye out again for that. It does also, very unlikely that it gets this because I don't know how they'd handle it. Belly Drum, cutting half of its HP. Probably not something you're going to do to a 7-star Terror, but would be interesting to see how they make that work. With that being said, that is what we're looking at. Coming out this Thursday for Pacific Time Zone. Friday at midnight UTC, we will be getting our next 7-star Terra Raid with Chestnut. We are diving into the Unova starters alongside. So this is right alongside the Oshawott that we had, or no, sorry, the Froakie that we had. This is Kalos. I am just getting my gens all kinds of messed up. This is Kalos. So we may see Braixen come after this, but we'll have to see. Time will tell. So let's enjoy the time we have. Solid special defense attack or special attackers are going to probably be the key to this. I have a friend talking about Sap Sipper Goodra. Annihilate has proven time and time again that it can make its way through these raids even with conditions like high defense. Keep an eye out for a couple of those options. As soon as we have a strategy that works consistently, either by soloing it or allowing us to run it in a group of 4, I'll have another video up this weekend to make sure that we highlight that process, because we want to make sure that you have a chance to beat this as easily as possible and potentially beat it as many times as you'd like, because those candies that it drops, the rewards for beating it are massive and super helpful to be able to take advantage of throughout the weekends that these are available. That's going to be it. We're going to go ahead, jump right back over here. Thank you so much again for joining me here to break down this new raid event. I'm looking forward to taking on Chesnaught. Back when Kalos dropped, Chespin was actually my favorite. I don't really have too many feelings about it now, but I do still like Chesnaught. It's obviously one of those starters that, because it's defensively based rather than offensively based, it gets picked a lot less often. But I like the idea behind it. So I'm looking forward to being able to take it down, add it to my roster, shiny hunt it, of course, because why wouldn't I? So again, come visit me live over on Twitch. The link is down in the description below. Leave a comment, subscribe if you're not, because it's super helpful, and we'll see you next time.